Hello and welcome back to the course of cryptography and system security. We are going to study today the block cipher modes of operation. As far as we have seen the block cipher principle in the last video, now the observations there from that block ciphers are nothing but when we change the different modes of operation of the block ciphers, then it results into the different properties being achieved, which adds the security of the underlying block cipher. So whenever we want to put a more security, then we need to make a verification of the different properties of the different modes of operation of the block ciphers. So block cipher processes the data blocks of the fixed size. As this particular size is fixed, because of which we can process the data sequentially and easily. With the long data, if the data is long, then it must be divided into the series of sequential massive blocks, and then the cipher operates on these blocks one at a time. There is a there are five types of the modes of operation of the cipher blocks. Block cipher. First is the electronic code book mode, cipher block chaining mode, cipher feedback mode, output feedback mode, and last is a counter mode. So in the first type, it is a very straightforward the way of processing of the series of the sequential list of the message blocks. So operation of this CB electronic code book involves the user takes the first block of the plain text and encrypts it with the key to produce the first block of ciphertext. Then he takes a second block of plain text and follows the same procedure as the same with the same key, and so on forth. So in this case, this electronic code book is said to be the deterministic. That is, if the plain text block P1, P2 up to Pm are encrypted twice under the same key, the output ciphertext block will be the same. Diagrammatically, we can represent the operation of this ECB mode like that. Plain text P1, P2 is there and producing the ciphertext C1, C2 along with the help of the key and blocks for encryption algorithms. So C1, C2 are being transmitted over the receiver side, and at the receiver side, the C1, C2 are being processed for the decryption algorithms with the help of key and produces the plain text P1 and P2. It's very simple and traditional approach for this block ciphering. Second type is cipher block chaining mode. In this case, we can see the encryption and decryption process are being carried out with the XORing of the plain text. Here at transmitting side, the XORing of the plain text is done, and at the receiver side, the XORing of the ciphertext is being done. So n-bit store is being preferred and initially loaded with the initial vector, initialization vector. So here in this case, this particular type of the mode provides the message dependence for the generating the ciphertext and make the system non-deterministic. So the operation for this particular mode involves the loading the n-bit initialization vector IV into the top register. So first is the top register is loaded with the initialization vector. Next is XOR the n-bit plain text block with the data value in top register. Then it is XORing taking place here, and then encrypt the result of the XOR operation with the underlying block cipher with the key K. Here, the key is being used for encryption algorithm after the XORing operation at the transmitter side. Now, feed a cipher text block into top register and continue the operation till all the plain text blocks are processed. The next step operation is decryption. Now, decryption initialization vector data is XORed with the first ciphertext block decrypted. The first ciphertext block is also fed into the register, replacing the initialization vector for decrypting the next cipher block. Third type is cipher feedback mode. So each cipher block gets a feedback into the encryption process in order to encrypt the next plain text block. Operation involves the loading the initialization vector in the top register, encrypting the data value into the top register with the underlying block cipher with the key K. It takes only S number of most significant bit LSBs, left bits of the output of the encryption process, and XOR them with the S bit plain text message block to generate the cipher text block. Next operation involves the feed cipher text block into the top register by shifting the already present data to the left and continue the operation until all the plain text blocks are processed. Initially, the previous cipher text block is encrypted with the key and then result is XOR to the current plain text block. Similar steps are followed for the decryption. A pre-decided initialization vector is initially loaded at the start of the decryption. This is the processing being done. First, left shift is being carried out. Here, the first operation is to load the initialization vector in the top register. Then this kind of processing is done to the encryption side and decryption side. First, MSB is selected. Here in this case, we can say this XORing operation is being done with the left shift of the MSB bit and the plain text, and then the ciphering text is being generated. Ciphering segments are being generated. And the decryption side, again, the XORing of the MSB and the decrypted, encryption cipher text is being done and produces the plain text as a plain text segment. Fourth type is output feedback mode. And we will see the diagram first. Here, in this case, the shift to the left initialize to the initialize vector is being done. Encryption is being done, and again XORing operation is done with the input segments to produce the output segments. Now here we will see the operation that it involves a fitting the successive output blocks from the underlying block cipher block back to it. Next is these feedback blocks provide the string of bits into to the feed the encryption algorithm, which acts as a key stream generator, as in the case of CFB mode. Next is the key stream generated XOR with the plain text blocks. Next is the OFB mode requires an initialization vector as the initial random n bit input block. The initialization vector needs not to be secret. And the last operation is a counter mode. It is necessary to fix up the counter at the transmitting side, center side, and the receiver side, and go on incrementing the counter. Similar simple operation is there in encryption algorithms with the key attached to the counter. It is producing the plain text and XORing then sending to the cipher text to the receiver side. So reverse operation takes place at the receiver side. So it can be considered as a counter-based version of the CFD mode without the feedback. In this mode, both sender and receiver need to access to the reliable counter, which computes a new shared value each time a cipher text block is exchanged. This shared counter is not necessarily a secret value, but challenge is that both sides must kept in the counter with a synchronized one. So this counter mode operation involves load the initial counter value in the top register is the same for both the sender and receiver. It plays the same role as a initialized vector in the CFB or CBC mode. Next operation for the counter mode is to encrypt the data contents of the counter with the key and place the result into the bottom register. Take the first plain text block for P1 and XOR this to the content of the bottom register. The result of this is C1. Send C1 to the receiver and update the counter. counter updates replaces the ciphertext feedback to the ciphertext feedback in CFP mode. Continue this manner until the last plain text block has been encrypted. The last step is the decryption is the reverse process. The ciphertext block is XORed with the output of the encrypted content of the counter value. After the decryption of each ciphertext block counter, it is updated as in case of the encryption. So this is my reference for this mode of operations. Thanks for watching.